Hello happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. Oh, welcome to all of my new subscribers and big love to those of you that have always been here with me. You guys are amazing. I still can't believe there's over 50,000 of you. It's absolutely mind-boggling. But thank you for tuning in today. We are doing a reading I haven't done before and I'm a little bit excited. We're asking, what do you need to know about your person? Now, we are going to look at what you think you know as well. How do you currently see them? But we're also going to look beneath the surface. What do you really need to know? What aren't you seeing about this person and the situation that you're in with them? So take your time choosing a pile. I've got 3 for you today. The first one is the Starchild Tarot with Amethyst. The second one is the Journey of the Sacred Bee with Amazonite. And the third one is Dame Darcy's Tarot, also with Amazonite, just a more turquoisey shade. So the timestamps for each pile are in the description box below. I personally like to choose from the timestamps, but there's no right or wrong way to choose. Just see which one you're drawn to. And if you feel drawn to more than one, it could be that there's messages in more than one pile for you. Remember, these are general readings, so they're not going to resonate 100% for everyone, but just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And I will see you at your pile. Hello, pile 1. You have chosen the Starchild Tarot with Amethyst. And we're asking, what do you need to know about your person? What aren't you seeing? You know, these are the things that you need to know to help you make decisions in terms of how to move forward or manage this situation that you're in with this person. So whatever the universe, the light, needs to communicate to you the most, what aren't you seeing that you really need to see? I'm going to keep those 2. Came up in reverse, Queen of Pentacles in reverse and Justice in reverse. So I'm hearing straight away with your person that they haven't left their karmic. And for my first instinct was that they're not going to anytime soon. We've got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse and Justice in reverse. And I'm hearing these are blocked energies, that these, you know, these 2 cards are communicating that your person, they're not ready to move on from the relationship that they are currently in. So I guess that gets us off to a fairly eager start. If that doesn't resonate for you, then this probably isn't your pile. But it definitely feels like that was a very clear message. These cards flew out. But I want to see what are you seeing currently about this situation. I just want to understand what the situation is, the bit that you already know. Got the 2 of Swords in reverse. So this person just isn't making a decision. We've got Starseed in reverse. The Knight of Swords in reverse. The 7 of Swords in reverse. Wow. So yeah, this just isn't moving forward. This person isn't taking action. They're refusing to make a decision. And with the 7 of Swords is the energy of deceit, betrayal. You know, when this card is reversed, it feels like, you know, they're not prepared to address that. They're not ready for this to come out into the open. Can you just bear with me one moment? Because my dog, he is now deaf and he thinks he's on his own. He doesn't realise I'm in here and he's crying. So I'm just going to go and get him 2 seconds. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, you know, what I'm seeing here, these are all in reverse. As I said, the first 2 out, the Queen of Pentacles and Justice in reverse. This is wife or spouse energy. And Justice in reverse for me is unresolved karma. We've got the 2 of Swords. This is indecision, someone that's refusing to face the truth, someone that's refusing to even look at it or acknowledge, you know, the emotional undercurrent here. This is someone that's very much burying their head in the sand. And the Starseed energy, this is someone that's refusing to acknowledge the intuitive kind of magical connection that exists here as well. This is someone that's very avoidant. You may have discussed this with them. You may have mentioned the soulmate thing, and this person perhaps is really against or skeptical of anything spiritual. And that may be a kind of something you've disagreed on. But the Knight of Swords as well, this is someone that won't speak their truth and won't take action, won't move things forward. And the 7 of Swords in reverse, as I say, this is the card of betrayal, deceit, strategy, manipulation. And it, again, with it being blocked, they won't acknowledge this. You know, they don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to face it. This is someone that's running hard and hiding, you know, definitely hiding. But my gut feeling is you're not communicating. You know, they're not cheating with you. They don't want to do that. They don't want to face that. Perhaps they have in the past, but it feels like this person saying, no, you know, I can't do that. I can't be deceitful. It might be I can't be deceitful anymore. In your case, they may have already, you know, been with you in the past, despite this relationship here. So that's what we know. Now, what do you need to know that you're not seeing about this person, pile one? I love this deck so much. It looks great against this black as well, doesn't it? Got the Page of Pentacles in reverse, the Four of Cups, the Nine of Swords in reverse, the King of Wands in reverse. So, the Page of Pentacles in reverse, I mean, this is someone that is very, very resistant. You know, they're not planning to communicate with you. This person's very self-absorbed right now, and they're in a lot of pain, you know, with the Nine of Swords. But this person is like, this is a head buried in the sand energy. Now, to be clear, you know, they don't want to address anything. I feel like this person isn't just avoiding you or running from you, but they are running from life. You know, there's a tremendous amount of pain in here. And when the Nine of Swords is reversed, you know, this indicates someone that's in a very, very dark place, but doesn't want to acknowledge that. You know, they don't want to acknowledge that. I mean, they may not even be with this person, but they have unresolved karma with them. This is what's keeping them away. This is what's keeping them stuck. And, you know, in real terms, this person doesn't want to become unstuck. It's really strange, but they're in such a twisted, tangled place that they've almost convinced themselves it's impossible. And so they're just trying to get through each day. This is someone that's just barely surviving and feeling really rotten on a day-to-day basis. You know, when King of Wands comes up in reverse, this is someone who's very disempowered by their circumstances and someone who's really feeling a tremendous amount of pain. You know, that they don't know how to create change. And I don't think they can see past the end of their own nose right now. You know, we've got this Four of Cups energy. So I think the message for you here in terms of, you know, what you need to know that you didn't know is that this person, you know, then it's not just that they're not focused on you, they're not focused on anything. You know, they can't see outside of their own bubble of pain. This Page of Pentacles in reverse is such a ugly energy when it's distorted. It's so painful. This is someone that doesn't even dare think about the next step. They're so stuck and in so much agony, so much pain, so much confusion that they can't even consider what to do next. You know, this is someone that doesn't have a spark of hope or any kind of respite even of the mind. You know, sometimes when we're feeling bad, we can imagine and daydream and idealize or fantasize. This person can't even do that. You know, that it feels like they're, you know, the Nine of Swords in reverse is someone whose head is going round and round and round in circles and on a very negative loop, and they seemingly just can't stop it. You know, this is someone that isn't well. And perhaps you didn't realise about this person. It definitely feels like there's been no communication. And I feel your frustration because with this Starseed card, you know, when you unblock this energy, you know, this is someone that does feel the energy, feel you in their heart space, but they're not prepared to open up and acknowledge this. You know, this is somebody who's asleep. And we've got the Nine of Swords here as well. Sorry, the Knight of Swords. And you can see that there's this kind of portal that beckons them in, beckons them forward. And they kind of, you know, they've put the sword down. They don't want to know the truth. They don't want to dip their toes in. And again, this energy is also blocked. You know, the Knight of Swords is traditionally associated with that determined fast forward action or movement and communication, messages. You know, this person doesn't know what to say to you. They don't know how to communicate what's happening to them. They're very, very confused. What do you need to know about how they feel about this situation? Got the Seven of Cups, Wow. The Devil in reverse. The Lovers in reverse. And the Three of Wands in reverse. Again, confusion. This person doesn't know what they want. You know, the Seven of Cups is about illusion. It's about choices. And the truth is, this person doesn't know what's right for them. They don't know what to do to make things okay in life. And they're terrified of making the wrong decision. You know, that even though this situation is karmic, and it's, you know, if it's karmic by nature, it's likely going to be a very challenging relationship, but it's also comfortable. You know, there's an energy of safety and comfort about this connection because it's what they know. And so that, you know, there's so many different directions in which they could move to get themselves out of this horrible sticky cycle that they're stuck in, but they simply don't know what direction to choose. There's so much confusion here. And with the Devil in reverse, you know, this is someone that's not facing the dependencies and addictions and awful shadow aspects that are holding them back. You know, this is unresolved addictions and habits to the extreme. You know, this is someone that's been stuck for a long time and is refusing to even acknowledge the kind of potential reasons behind that so that they can begin figuring it out. They don't have that awareness. They don't have the impetus to actually investigate why this is happening to them. They're just stuck. I feel your frustration. For me, the energy of the viewer here is so frustrated because I don't think anything you say is going to help this person see the truth. You know, I think they are stuck in this karmic cycle, and even though it's very painful for you to observe this happening to them, and of course you want them to wake up, to remember who you are, you want them to start coming back towards you, to see how beautiful this light between you is. And you know, your frustration is born of your own impatience, but you know what Spirit's asking you to see is that genuinely this person's on their own path, and you know, it's not for you to resolve the path. You've just got to trust that it's panning out in the way that it was meant to for them. And I know that's so hard to watch. It's so hard to accept sometimes, you know, that people are meant to go through these things. You know, people think, well, why should we suffer? You know, why should we go through these difficult things? Why does it have to be so long? But in truth, suffering is how we learn. You know, the harshest lessons are the greatest lessons. And in real terms, if you're watching this from your very comfortable roof over your head with internet and a device to watch it on, you know, you're already in the probably top 1% of wealthiest, comfortable people on the planet. You know, so these problems that we're having, these are real first world problems. And, you know, you're a very old soul if this is the karma you're wrapping up. Because in real terms, this person's depressed and they're low, but this isn't suffering really. When you think about how people suffer in the world and how you would have undoubtedly suffered when you're going through the harshest of karma through many lifetimes, you know, this is tying up loose ends of karma. It looks harsh, but you don't need to feel sorry for this person. Okay, they are an old soul and they are a strong soul, but their soul right now is asleep. It's in this body. It's in this body of this 3D person and it's sleeping. It doesn't remember all of those lessons it learned. It's just cycling through this pain and this karmic lesson. And they will resolve it. They'll get there. But, you know, you hanging on waiting for them, it's futile. You've got to start focusing on you. This person, you know, they're so afraid of coming towards you. They're so afraid of fulfillment. They don't know what fulfillment looks like. In terms of how they feel, they're asking, is this fulfillment? I don't know. You know, look at how many blocked energies here. They won't acknowledge their addictions, their habits, their unhealthy attachment to you. They're so scared of being codependent, of being rejected. You know, this is one avoidant person. You know, they don't address deep or intense emotion. They run from it. And so there's all of this possible feeling beneath the surface for them, but it's blocked. You know, these cards are reversed. Fulfillment, the Lovers, that twin energy, and the Devil, which is distorted love. You know, the devil is number 15, which reduces to number 6, the number of love, and the lovers is number 6. You know, you have got both conditional love and unconditional love here blocked. You know, this person doesn't know what you are to them. They don't know what they feel. They don't know if it's right or wrong, or right or wrong even. And they don't know if this is what means, you know, fulfillment for them. They don't know if they should stay where they are in this other cycle that they're so stuck to. And the only card upright here is the Four of Cups, which is that self-absorbed energy. This is the energy of Narcissus. Often we see the Four of Cups as being someone that's looking into a pond or pool. And, the Seven of Cups is about illusion and choices. You know, this person's completely absorbed in not knowing, completely absorbed in confusion, and so afraid of any possibility. They don't know what to do to change. So the message to you, Par 1, is we're going to get some messages for you as well, but this is about, you know, recognizing that they are stuck in this cycle and there's nothing that you can do to adjust it, and that it's meant to be this way. You know, this is how they've got to learn this lesson, and it may appear that they're suffering terribly, but trust that they are cut from the same cloth as you. They are strong. Their soul is strong. Their mission and purpose is strong. It just hasn't woken up yet. Okay. So what's the message to you from this person's higher self? What do they want you to know about themselves, about the situation, about how you see them? I'm going to get some message cards as well, and some oracle cards, I think. Right, so we've got the Ace of Swords in reverse, the Two of Pentacles, and Serenity, which is the Hermit. This is beautiful. I love the Hermit energy. We're going to get some oracle cards as well. So this is the Archetype Oracle deck. Just one of these. There's a message from your person's higher self to help you understand them better. So it's the shadow attribute of divine child. And one for you, one that they want to bring to your attention about yourself. So it's the light attribute of victim. And this is the 7 Energies Oracle. We've got Earth Magic. And from the Animal Spirit Oracle, we've got Hawk and Crow. And finally, from these message cards that I have written myself. Let's see. I always want you, even when I think for a moment I don't. The longing never leaves me. You give so much, it makes me feel like I can never match up to your expectations. Stop what-ifing and let love grow. Okay, the message from your person that you need to know. They're not going to be in a position to communicate truth anytime soon, Par 1. This is the Ace of Swords in reverse. There isn't going to be an intellectual or communicative new beginning. Okay, there's not going to be any change in how they perceive the situation at a mental level. And they're asking you to recognize that balance, harmony, so forth is going to require change, and they need to be alone to make that change. This is Hermit energy, but this is advice to you as well. And I feel like they're reminding you, you know, that this period of solitude that you're both encountering is necessary. You know, the Two of Pentacles, it often shows us that infinity symbol as well. It's about balancing those cycles and finding, you know, the harmonious point. And it's a decisive move as well to create harmony and balance. It's a very decisive energy. But again, with the Hermit here expressed as serenity and peace, and you know, this is the energy of solitude. It's the energy of going within and recognizing the truth of who you are, finding that light within you. I really recommend that you Google the Hermit card and focus on this energy, because your person's, really identifying here that you both need to be in that place and that this is productive, it's impactful. But, for now, you need to stop watching your phone. And I feel like you needed to hear that. This message, is going to help you let go a little bit, to say, okay, I'm going to have this time, so I'm going to use it wisely. Now, your person's in this energy of the shadow attribute of the divine child, which is an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. So I do feel as well that, when you ground and protect yourself, it might really help to ground and protect your person. They're in very low vibrational energies, but this is also a sign to protect you. If this person's your twin, energetically speaking, your twin is your greatest vulnerability. If they get attacked and they've got low vibrational energy, by the nature of how energy works, higher vibrational energy will always flow to lower vibrational energy. That's to say, the energy will always seek to create harmony or balance. Yeah, so if you've got higher vibrational energy, it's going to flow to them until you're both at more level, even keel. So if you're not topping up your own energy, if you're not generating a lot of high vibrational energy with your own grounding, protection and self-care, then you're going to be at the mercy of their energy. And because they've got this inner child pain, this distorted divine child energy as well, they've got very low vibrational energy. They're not very good at protecting themselves or defending themselves. Someone like this as well can be hypersensitive to criticism. They're not very good at hearing about their weaknesses, faults or errors or misgivings. This is someone that would really struggle to face their shadow aspects because it makes them feel so rotten about themselves. They've already got such low self-esteem, low self-worth, that they may really struggle to communicate at that level. And they're asking you to recognize this. Victim energy prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Now, this is a fairly positive energy. This is someone that has, risen above that victim mentality. For me, this is them really patting you on the back and saying, you've stopped blaming other people. Recognize how much you've actually grown on this journey, because you used to feel so sorry for yourself. You used to think it was everyone else's fault that you felt so rotten, and you're taking responsibility. You're starting to care for yourself. You're starting to recognize that, you've got the power to choose who you are. You're no longer this victim. You are preventing, others from abusing you. You have learned to develop healthier boundaries. Obviously, that victim mentality still lingers. There's still a message there to address it, because they are not prepared to defend themselves. Sometimes when we start to see how we have tolerated and allowed others to victimize us, the boundaries we put in place to begin with can be a little bit too firm. It's like we swing from one extreme to the other. No boundaries to crazy, heavy, massive boundaries, perhaps barriers rather than boundaries. So there may be a message there as well that this is something that still needs more work, focus and consideration. And grounding is so important here. We're talking again about grounding and protection. For me, this is a very, very important message to stay connected to Mother Earth. Remember, as human beings, our energy body, our soul, is contained within this vessel, our human body, and we have to ground our soul in the earth as well to make sure it stays connected to our human body. Otherwise we become dislocated. We're only present here because we have a human body to carry us. So grounding is really important. There is a grounding and protection video on my channel if you're not sure how to do that. And the hawk, the hawk is a messenger from spirit. This is about a higher perspective. This is about, this came up blocked for them, what we know about them, but this is the energy you're in. You're recognizing your own divinity, and they're asking you to trust in your own instincts and a higher perspective. I'm really drawn to how it's the lower three chakra colors that are highlighted here, the red, orange and yellow. And those are deeply connected to inner child pain, to our trigger centers and also our passion and purpose. And so these are things that, your person wants you to focus on. You know, to recognize that right now you have a higher perspective than them. You're a tall oak tree among saplings. You can see things differently, and that's okay. But you need to release the idea that they're along there with you. They're on a completely different evolutionary frequency. And remember, you know, as I said, there's not going to be any change in that anytime soon. They're not catching you up. The guidance for you is to keep moving forward. You know, this hawk is in flight. You know, take flight, keep soaring higher, don't wait behind for me. And we've got crow energy. Now, the crow is actually about death and transformation, not death in the literal sense. It's not about anyone literally dying. But I talked about this in one of my videos this week. You know, death is like winter. It's a rebirth. You know, when everything goes to sleep at winter and, you know, the leaves fall from the trees, all the flowers die back into the earth and they're reborn again in spring. And the crow for me really represents this transformational process that's occurring. And I'm really drawn to how this light is at the center of this darkness here. You know, trust that this person's shadow will be illuminated in the right time. Death energy is also Scorpio energy. Again, that's the energy of resurrection. Of the rising of the phoenix, you know, the light giving a spark of new creation. So you've just got to trust in divine timing and that everything's moving forward in the way it ought to. I will always want you, and even when I think for a moment I don't, the longing never leaves me. So, you know, again, that really demonstrates that confusion that this person is in. Even when I think for a moment that I don't, the longing never leaves me. And I think this is such an uncomfortable place for them to be. I know it's really rotten for you because, you know, you still really want to be with them and they just don't, they're not able to be in the energy of reciprocating that and of connecting to that desire in the same way that you are, because they're so confused. They're still wrapped up in this karmic cycle. And again, it feels like things are so out of balance. You know, in your attempt to show them so much love, you've given so much that it's created this imbalance, and now they feel like they couldn't repay you or ever live up to your expectations. It does feel like you may be way more, high achieving or successful than them in material terms. And so, you know, it feels like too much for their very fragile masculine pride to cope with or to compete with. Stop what-ifing and let love grow. I do think, you know, this is again about releasing expectation. Whatever we think we know about tomorrow, in real terms, we don't know anything. There is no evidence as to what is going to happen tomorrow, and yet we spend a lot of time what-ifing about what will happen next. And sometimes we can ruminate on that for such a long time that it begins to really eat away at us or, you know, create fear within us. Because most often our what-ifing isn't productive, it's not helpful, it's really negative, and it's not true. So, you know, this is asking you to get out of the frame of mind of focusing on what might happen. You know, it's about learning to be present and letting that love grow within you in the present and taking each day at a time. In many respects, this is actually what your person is doing. They're just not doing it with awareness, but they are very much in the present. They're certainly not projecting too much into the future because that's too scary for them. But let's get some charms for you to wrap this up before we go over to the extended. Right, we have got... Is Mercury in retrograde? I don't believe it is at the time of uploading, but this is obviously about communication. You know, when Mercury is in retrograde, everything connected to how we communicate and interact is impacted. And so it feels like, you know, this is a very clean message, again, reaffirming that what's going on between you and your person right now is outside the boundaries of your control. For one, it's an external force, and this is how it's impacting. It's drawing your person in. You know, that Ace of Swords in reverse and that Knight of Swords in reverse, it's making them uncommunicative and less inclined to take action. And there's a need for you to just surrender to and accept that and stop trying to change it or apply, you know, just maybe pressure to them even. You might be really frustrated in terms of telling them. We've got, hello, I'm a bad idea. You know, this is really about recognizing that this person isn't right for you right now. They're in a really rough place and it's not your problem to resolve. It's not your job to fix them, to educate them or to make them happy. And certainly this person cannot engage in a fulfilling, healthy relationship with you right now. more about the what ifing. This one is don't overthink it. Same message as this, stop what ifing, just let love be. And we've got this beautiful bumblebee here, the queen bee. This is about, for me, this is a very divine feminine symbol of leadership and teamwork. This is asking you how you can reach out into your community and collaborate in a meaningful way. So for sure, you need to start expanding your horizons and connecting with your soul tribe and finding other light seekers like you who are on a similar path, can understand one another, and I think as well teach one another. And this feels like a mutually beneficial arrangement. And also sometimes the queen bee is calling you to step up and lead in some way. Perhaps you've got something valuable to share. So if you haven't already, maybe you should join my Facebook group, which is a networking group for light workers and twin flames and soulmates, and find like-minded people that you can collaborate with, is what I'm hearing. The Game Boy asked you to be more playful, to just rise above the difficulties of the times. And I know that can sound like toxic positivity, and it's not about brushing over what's difficult, but it is about, giving yourself time to be playful. Sometimes we spend so much time focusing on the what ifs and the overthinking and the things that make us crazy. Really, we should be limiting ourselves to how much time we commit to that if we can. And the best way to do that is to commit your time to doing other things that are going to take your mind off it, such as playfulness, hobbies, interacting with others for just the purpose of having fun. It could be a solitary game or hobby, it doesn't matter, but it's about getting into flow state, using productive activity to take your mind off unhealthy and limiting beliefs, giving yourself that respite. We've also got this little tiny umbrella charm came out. If the camera's going to focus on that one, there we go. And the fact that it's yellow and pink, for me, I think this is really about, being sheltered from your triggers. The solar plexus is the trigger center, and the umbrella for me is about kind of, I guess, trying to inhibit that flow of emotion. An umbrella protects us from water, which is emotion. So I think this is asking you to be more aware of the spiritual purpose and emotional nature of the triggers, and to tune into them and to meditate through that rather than try and ignore or distract yourself from it. Rather than overthinking it, sometimes we need to be in that hermit energy of just being still and feeling into it and acknowledging it so that we can transcend it. It's not about just distracting ourselves. That's a healthy thing to do if we're overthinking, but we also have to address the root cause of our shadow. And I think the umbrella indicates where maybe you're avoiding some of those emotional rushes. We've also got the twin quartz that came out for you. For me, this is a very clear symbol that even if you're not in a twin flame connection, there's a lot of mirroring between you and this person. And in truth, the way the connection is flowing right now is also a representation of how you are feeling inside and what you need. And again, that connecting energy was that hermit energy, the energy of solitude and the energy of going within to create more harmony and more balance. So I really hope that was helpful, pile one. I'm going to take this over to the extended. We're going to go deeper. We're going to ask the question at a deeper level with more cards. What do you need to know about your person? What do they want to say to you that you need to know about them and this connection? So if this has resonated for you, you can join me over at the extended. The links are in the description box below and also by the timestamps in the comments. Hopefully I'll see you there. But if not, thank you so much for tuning in today. It was an absolute pleasure as always. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all of your subscriptions. Thank you so much to those generous souls that exchange my time for theirs and watch one of the commercials. I appreciate you guys so much. And just thank you for being here. Lots of love, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen The Journey of the Sacred Bee Tarot. It's a piece of Amazonite. And we are asking today, what do you need to know about your person? Now, I've not done this reading before, and I just did the part one, and it was deep. It's a good question to ask. We're going to ask first, what are you currently seeing about the situation? Then we're going to look at what you're not seeing. We're going to ask what you're not seeing, what you need to know about how your person's feeling, and we're going to ask their higher self as well, what they need you to know about them. So this is, the perspective that you need to see And quite often, because when we're knee deep in our own lives, we don't have that objective perspective. So the goal here is to give you more objectivity, to help you see what you're not currently seeing. So let's give these a really good shuffle, and I'm going to look first about your current situation, just to give me some context and understanding. Right, so we've got Death in reverse. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. We've got the Seven of Cups in reverse. We've got the Chariot. We've got the World. The Ace of Wands. Nine of Cups in reverse. And Judgment. These are quite intense energies, and the detail here is really nuanced. I need to just finely tune it. I need to figure it out. This feels like it felt like things were over. I think just as you actually let go, this is a divine feminine that just let go. There's the energy of surrender here. And exactly as that occurred, there was this rebirth, this exciting new beginning. And it feels like even though there's a separation in this connection right now, there's also beautiful flow. It just feels like, this divine feminine recognized that, your person isn't going to change. That they're going through a transformation, and you were ready for your own beginning. This was like the divine feminine making a commitment to herself. And so that it's just such a lovely feeling. It's this feeling of this new, just a feeling of expansion, and this door opening and a weight off your shoulders. Look at this bee carrying this weight on its shoulders, the whole world on its shoulders. It just feels like this liberation, this Ace of Wands, this spiritual new beginning, this Queen of Pentacles holding all of these lotus flowers, just, completely embodying your own power, and their reluctance to change, a recognition that you needed to move forward because they weren't making any decisions. But again, we've got this Chariot and Judgment, the energy of awakening and drive and impulse, and this exciting movement forward with this flying Pegasus. Your person, I think you understood, was too emotionally disrupted to be able to actually make a decision. This is very similar to the energies of Pile 1, but I feel like maybe a different stage of a very similar journey. Because for me, this is the energy of divine feminine recognition and of moving on. And so, we need to ask now, what do you not understand about your person regards this? What do you need to know about your person and this energy that exists between you? Because it feels like you've let go. You've definitely let go, and you've kind of, I think, finally accepted who they are. That it just feels almost like it's none of your business anymore. That you're focused on your own journey, that you really have. There's this analogy that I use sometimes that I think is so relevant here for the divine feminine and the divine masculine. The divine masculine is stuck in the shadow, and the feminine is magnetized and always being pulled towards the light, and it's her energy that kind of magnetizes the masculine towards the light. But I digress. So this divine feminine has turned towards the light and kind of begun moving towards it, whereas she was previously, just stuck in that shadow with him. And so having released that shadow, having fully turned towards her own light, purpose and truth with this very powerful Chariot energy here, it just feels like there has been this dramatic shift for this divine feminine, almost a euphoric shift. And so I feel like you may have not watched readings about your person for quite some time because actually you weren't really interested. But you need to know this about them, apparently. So let's see. Wow, Eight of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Ace of Swords in reverse. Page of Wands. The High Priestess. And the Three of Wands. This is really intriguing because these cards were all in the previous pile, just in a different context. This feels like, as I said, a similar journey to pile 1, but slightly more advanced on the evolutionary scale. So what you need to know about your person right now is that this energetic shift is kind of, this feels like destiny in motion, like that energy of divine timing in motion. This person's undergoing change, but something is at work. It's called mastery in this deck. This is about skill and your person finally aligning with some kind of impulse to take action with this Page of Wands energy. And the Page of Wands energy it's an immature energy. It's the youngest energy of the suits. But it's a beautiful, new, tentative beginning of a spiritual nature here. This is someone that's actually become inquisitive and is trying to master and understand what's happening here. And they really are doing this at a very intuitive and spiritual level. This is High Priestess energy. It came up reversed in pile 1. It's that starseed in reverse. And that Three of Wands came up in reverse as well. But what we're seeing now is someone that's actually opening their third eye, paying attention to the divine spiritual flow of energy and trying to learn from that. The Three of Wands is called virtue in this deck, but really it's the energy of fulfillment. And it's got this Aries energy here as well, the energy of drive, impulse, passion, creativity, pulling things together. Remembering that 3 is the energy of manifestation. It's Empress energy. This is someone that's creating and moving forward. Now, that new beginning and that truth is still blocked as well. So for me, this is energy that's happening behind the scenes that probably feels completely, invisible on the surface. I don't think that you could possibly observe in your 3D reality this happening. This is energy in motion. As I said, destiny in motion. It's like a flow or an undercurrent of change, lights connecting, dots connecting in the ether. This person's on a new path. Your movement away from them has allowed them space to grow and shift. They're now starting to explore and acknowledge their own triggers and the inner child pain connected to that. And this feels like the flow of work. Now, remember that 8 is that number of infinity, and this is Virgo energy. Virgo energy is very purposeful. It wants to be diligent and organized and determined and hardworking. This is someone that is finally facing their triggers, facing their pain and working at it. And they're observing and taking action at a spiritual level. It's an immature one. There's still a lot of work here to do, but this person is feeling into this situation with their intuition, with divine feminine energy. And that's the collapsing of the ego. The masculine ego doesn't want to accept the flow of emotional and intuitive energy. It doesn't want to be receptive in that way because it perceives it as a feminine energy or a weakness. And so the allowance and receptivity to these energies really demonstrates this masculine's growth, that the ego is breaking down and they're becoming more aware. That ability to face themselves with emotional maturity and emotional observation, something they've resisted so much so far, is finally allowing them to pay attention to the triggers and that inner child pain. But it's not created enough change for a new beginning. The new beginning is still blocked. This person is as yet unable to communicate this. They're unable to see how this is yet going to move them forward. The Ace of Pentacles is that literal new beginning. You know, that earthly material start, a fresh start. It could be a new job, a new home, a step in a new direction in a literal sense. That's blocked. So their 3D circumstances may not appear to have changed at all, but for sure, you know, that new beginning is just on the horizon. That energy will unblock sooner or later. And I don't think that the tarot really looks more than 3 to 6 months ahead, personally. So, you know, for me, this is something that's, you know, in motion. And the same with this Ace of Swords. You know, the Ace of Swords in reverse is someone who's unable to communicate truth. They're unable to connect with the authenticity. They're unable to express themselves. You know, they're unable to align with something in the mind. It's like there's still a confusion or disconnect there, an inability and or reluctance to open up at a mental, communicative or expressive level. So, you know, so much change happening, so much impulse. It's like a spark of life that has given birth to this new way of being that is soon about to, you know, metamorphosize into your 3D reality. This feels really exciting. So what do you need to know about them and how they're feeling about you at the moment? We've got the Sun, 6 of Cups, and the Devil. So this is kind of positive in many respects. I mean, these feelings are deep. This person knows that there is a soul connection here, and this is more Virgo energy. But, you know, pleasure... Sorry, this is Scorpio energy, I beg your pardon. But pleasure is the 6 of Cups. It's called pleasure here. This is also the Soulmate card. It's connected to the sun, which is joy, happiness, completion, you know, lighting up this person's world. But they're still very unhealthily attached to you. This person's still not in the energy of being capable of a healthy, balanced relationship. You know, the perspective is still distorted. They're still learning. As I said, you know, that it's not the case that they have caught you up yet. You know, it definitely, this person, and again, these cards are so similar, they're at the earliest stages of their journey. There are still unhealthy habits, bondages, and addictions that need to be resolved here for this person. But the feelings are big. This is someone that's, I think, you know, I'm picking up a quite resentful energy about how they perceive you've turned away from them. I feel like you've been quite disconnected from that truth. That for you probably assumed they didn't care, and you know, it feels like this person doesn't communicate. So, you know, they're not going to tell you when they're bothered. This is someone as well that can't trust how you communicate. Because you're so direct and so real, when you say to this person, oh, I really love you and I care about you and I want to be with you, they can't believe that. They don't believe words because they've been in too many situations where people have used words and lied. They don't trust words. So this person figures out how you feel by provoking you emotionally and seeing how you react. You know, some people need to see fear to believe in your love, and they provoke fear. And this is the unhealthy energy that this person brings into this connection. You know, such behaviors are often labeled as narcissism, but in real terms, it's just someone that doesn't trust. Someone that doesn't trust words can never trust an authentic person, because inauthentic people have demonstrated authentic communication that wasn't true. So no matter how loving and expressive you try to be, this person can't believe it. They need to see fear, you know, fear of loss. Because if you really loved them, you would fear losing them. And so this person's really hurt that you've actually turned away, to, even though you've tried to communicate, you know, I still love you, but my love for you doesn't require, me to show up and tolerate an unhealthy dynamic in a relationship. But, to them, you wouldn't have let them go if you loved them. They don't understand healthy and unhealthy attachment. They just understand that fear means love, that when you hurt at someone leaving, that must mean what love is. And that's why they avoid it so much. So this person's feelings for you are really distorted. And I think you know this. I think you understand now that their perception and understanding of love is very, very distorted. It's warped by awful, painful experience. And because they haven't found the love inside themselves yet, they don't yet understand what true love is. And in truth, energy doesn't lie. I think this is why twin flame and soulmate connections are so beautiful, because people can communicate love in so many ways. In human terms, we call it the 5 love languages, which is, words, quality time, gifts, physical touch, and I think the other one was words of affirmation, like reward, like constant praise or something like that. And all of those things can easily be faked, but energy doesn't lie. And I think deep down, this is what is also so hard for them. Because, previously they've rejected that energy, they've rejected that awareness. And now this awareness is kind of flowing into their consciousness. They're starting to feel, they're actually so happy to have that reassurance. But it's hard for them to hold that truth, is what I'm hearing, which is why we have this devil energy here, this conditional love. This person still doesn't understand unconditional love. And they still don't have the energetic or emotional maturity to stay aligned in healthy love. There's still work to do here, and they are doing it. But I feel like you guys are pretty evolved. This feels like a really evolved couple here, energetically speaking. It may not appear so on the surface for your person, but in real terms, they definitely have divine masculine energy, which is already, I think, primed for beautiful transformation. So let's get some cards out on what do they want to say to you about what you need to know about. Let's get some messages from the higher self as well. I'm going to use some oracle cards. I'm going to get an archetype oracle card. I'm going to get one of these for each of you. So one, just give them a good shuffle. One to represent what they need you to know about them, and one as a message to yourself. The light attribute of the Samaritan, and for you, the shadow attribute of the goddess. And what other ones shall we get? We'll get some animal cards. We've got the hawk that also came up for pile 1. The tarantula. And the otter. And the 7 energies oracle. We've got endless possibilities. Perfect harmony, smoke and mirrors. And from the message cards, there were handwritten ones. So what does their higher self want you to know about them? What in this situation? What's the message for you there? I'm sorry I hurt you. It was never my intention. I don't even know where to begin fixing myself. Oh, not again. Please, not again. I am ready. Are you? Okay. So in terms of what they need you to know about them, for me, the otter is a very busy, both of these energies are very industrious and productive and proactive. They're all that connecting to that 8 of Pentacles energy that we have here. And look, even the colours of that tarantula are the same, the red and yellow. Okay, this is someone that's working at their triggers. And remember, the tarantula, again, is a very solitary creature. It works independently. It creates these incredibly detailed webs. It's working hard. Same energies here, solar plexus, root chakra. And indeed, the hawk presents the same energies and that passion, fire, that energy of creativity at the center, the sacral energy, and higher perspective as well with the hawk. You know, this is someone, again, that is tuned into the messages of spirit, that is feeling into the energy, that has a new, broader perspective and higher awareness that wasn't there before. And again, the otter, like I said, this is such an industrious and busy energy. In fact, you know, the journey of the sacred bee, I think, is really relevant here as well. You know, bees are all about work. So it does feel like, you know, this person does want to reassure you that they are working. It's just that you can't yet see the fruits of that labour. But the possibilities, you know, are starting to click into place for this person. They're starting to broaden their horizons. We've got this number 11. I feel sound healing and perfect harmony as well. There's a message here about music for you too, but they're recognizing the need for balance. You know, they're recognizing the need to create more harmony, you know, to create more joy in their life as well, is what I'm feeling. But this smoke and mirrors energy, you know, for me, this still demonstrates that energy of confusion, and also how both of you aren't recognizing the impact and strength of that mirror image that you're projecting at one another. You know, this person's propensity to throw a bomb into the mix so that they can see what your reaction is and therefore determine how you feel is something that's in you too. And, you know, the shadow aspect of yours that they're highlighting here is exploitation of the female nature and form, the shadow attribute of the goddess. So, you know, that's you really exploiting your feminine power and charms, you know, by being sexually or flirtily coercive or manipulative or sweet. You know, it's a manipulative energy. And the female nature as well, you know, demonstrating vulnerability to help someone else feel safe, you know, being strategic in your approach and using your feminine wiles and charms to get what you want. You know, so they're bringing to your attention that, you know, this mirror goes both ways. You know, you might see them or perceive them as being inauthentic or manipulative, but there's lots of ways in which you show up as less than your authentic self. And they're, you know, they're really calling to your attention that both of you need to be in this industrious energy of healing and focusing on self. This light attribute of themselves that they want to be aware of is really powerful. Redefines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. You know, they're developing much more compassion. You know, one of their I think values around this energy, this dark energy that they've been stuck in for so long, is that now they're figuring it out. They've got this will in them to help others figure it out. They're kind of like, do you know what, I've been through this and this really sucks, and I hope when I get through it and I figure this out, I can help others. And it's kind of engaged their compassionate and loving nature. It's allowed them to open their heart. And we've got all of this green and yellow energy as well, these heart triggers. Doing this work has triggered their heart, and their heart is beginning to open. And they are sorry, you know, that they've not been able to show up, that they've not been able to be that person that you deserved. You know, they never intended to hurt you. And I think you know that, that this person was just very, very stuck. And, even though this fixing is happening beneath the surface, in real terms, they still don't know what practical steps to take. This does feel like, as I said, someone changing on the inside, but us not seeing that physical transformation as yet. They're still not sure what steps to take. So, I feel like you might be able to reassure them, if there is communication between you, that even though it doesn't appear things are changing, that them connecting new dots in their mind and starting to face themselves is doing the work. It is starting to happen for them. That there is this new divine flow of energy happening now, that they're focusing on the mirror, they're drawing power from it by turning towards themselves. And you've inspired them to do this, because this is what you've done for yourself. I do feel for some of you that maybe the communication has only really started up again. And I really chuckled when I saw this because it made me think that this was you. It made me think of you just thinking, oh no, I've moved on. I don't need to think about this person anymore. And you going, oh God, you know, and for me, this was slightly them poking fun at this, that, you know, you feel like you've turned away from this, but deep down, that rejection wasn't very authentic either. It was kind of running energy on your part, it feels, and they're kind of chuckling away at that because they are ready. And actually they're saying, do you really think you're as surrendered and in as much acceptance and unconditional love to be ready for this? You know, you thought you were more evolved than me, but are you ready? This feels like quite an ironic, playfully mocking energy from them. And this, you know, again, in real terms, I think you've perceived them as being, you know, forevermore stuck. And you might be laughing at yourself saying there's no way that they are actually starting to figure this out. But genuinely, as I said at the beginning, this feels like divine energy in motion. This feels like just this flood of energy that is irresistible. You can't stop it and you can't help but be moved by it. It's this person and you are caught now in this torrent, this flow of energy that is pulling you along, this chariot energy. And I feel like, you know, you're both moving towards definitely union energies, you know, and their higher self is asking you, I'm ready. Are you ready? Are you really ready, part two? Let's get some guidance cards and some charms for you before we take this to the extended. Okay. So we have got the 2 swords or daggers. We've got save yourself. We've got, this came up for part 1 as well, crazy. It's Mercury in retrograde. We've got the gramophones. That's twice that we've got that music symbol for you too. Something significant there about music for you too. I'm trying and that's enough. And they really are. And the rainbow, which is a symbol of hope. This is beautiful. And I think for me, this sums up the energy of this reading. Stuff is happening. You know, this is energy in motion. You can allow yourself to trust in the divine flow of energy. This is about aligning with optimism, wishing and manifesting. Remember the pot of gold at the end of that. You're being asked to be aware of how indecision creates obstacles for you as well. Remember, we manifest what we believe. So, you know, indecision and doubt is what, you know, is essentially your enemy in this situation. To release it, just to allow yourself to align with the truth, just to focus on yourself. Again, this is a lot of red energy, a lot of root chakra work here, a lot of deep inner work, focusing on your own shadow aspects and allowing yourself to be more enlightened and illuminated as a result of that. For me, this is a powerful reminder. Again, even though that's gold, I'm just seeing that yellow and red energy again, focusing on your own wounds and triggers, and that this is where transformation begins. And communication might feel weird. I feel like you two have recently come into communication again. It feels like, that's why it's like this, oh no, this not again, a kind of opening of a can of worms somehow. Because I feel like you decided to move on. You decided you didn't want that. Maybe it feels like you've been sucked back in. Music is relevant to you guys here sometimes, but this is also about listening. I'm hearing that your role is to say less, listen more. Stop trying to control or change this. Remember to flow with the divine order, not to try and determine how it's going to end up. And that you know, this person really is trying, and that is enough. It may not feel like it. As I said, you may not see, you know, this stuff literally happening in real terms. It may be beneath the surface and that's frustrating, but it definitely is happening. And some guidance for them from you. Sorry, for you from them. 2 more. Birds of a feather and beautiful uncaging. Yeah, so look, something has been unlocked. Trust. You two are birds of the same feather. You know, you're both flying and flowing in the same direction, on the same path. This is a number 7 and a number 5. 5 is the number of transformation. You know, this is really powerful in terms of that beautiful uncaging. You know, the door to love has been unlocked, and to just trust in that divine flow of energy that's carrying you both. Like always attracts like. When it comes into balanced, harmonious resonance, you know, it creates union energies. This is 7, again, like the Chariot, divine intervention, that divine flow of energy pulling you along. You can trust pile 2. So I'm going to take this over to the extended now. We're going to go deeper into what do you need to know about your person. We're going to get more messages from them. We're going to take a deeper look into how they're feeling. We're going to ask what you need to know about them and how they're growing and what's happening next and what that tells you about yourself. We're just going to go deep. So if this resonated for you, you can find the link to the extended reading in the description box below and also in the comments pinned by the timestamps. So I will see you next time. Thank you so much, Part 2, for joining me. It's a pleasure as always. Thank you for hitting the like button and thank you for subscribing. And thank you so much for watching my commercials. You guys that exchange energy with me that way are so sweet. And I really appreciate your generosity. It makes such a difference to me and really helps keep the channel ticking over. So thank you. And I will see you next time. Lots of love. Bye. Hello, Part 3. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen Dame Darcy's Mermaid Tarot with Amazonite. And we are asking today, what do you need to know about your person? So far, these readings have been deep. It's a good question. What do you need to know the most about your person? I'm just going to pull some cards first to see what you know. What do you actually see about the current reality of the situation? Just so I've got some context as well. And then we're going to look at what you're not seeing. You know, when we're deep in the thick of a situation, it's hard for us to have an objective viewpoint, and so I hope to shine some light on the unknown for you. What are you not seeing? Let's see what's happening in the present first of all. Okay, we're going to use oracle cards and charms today as well. We'll get a really nice, deep, juicy, in-depth reading. Okay. So your current, what do you currently see? 7 of Wands, 10 of Wands, 5 of Wands, the 2 of Pentacles, Nine of Swords in reverse, Ace of Cups, Tower, the Moon in reverse. So I feel like, you know, you've had to put some barriers up. You know, this person just, I feel like they're ongoing. This is conflict. This is a game. This is a player. The ongoing game was just too much. You were angry. You were really angry. It feels like you were carrying such a burden because it was almost intolerable, because no matter what they did, you couldn't kind of turn off this flow of love that you felt for them on the inside. It was just a kind of all-encompassing, overwhelming, big love in you that flowed. What a nightmare to find yourself in, because this person just really wasn't stepping up and giving you respect even. There's just this ongoing competitive game, this back and forward, explosively confrontational and hostile situations, indecision, up and down, you know, completely unpredictable reactions and responses, which just culminated in this toxic lack of trust between you. So I do feel that things have been fairly turbulent, really turbulent between you. This is like, I do feel that you, the viewer, is angry, and that you just want to put an end to this. You know, you really desperately keep trying to walk away, but something pulls you back every time. But it feels like a tremendous burden now. You know, the constancy of this up and down and back and forward and painful. Oh my God, what now? You know, it feels really relentless. Okay, what do you need to know about this situation that you're not seeing now? What do you need to know about your person? in this situation that you're not seeing now. Three of Swords in reverse, the Fool, the Eight of Wands in reverse, the Knight of Wands, the Two of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and the Knight of Swords in reverse. So there's too much unresolved pain in this person's heart. There's too much wounded pain in their heart for them to really ever get beyond what appears to be a very superficial relationship. And I don't think this person has really ever had anything other than very or fairly superficial relationships. There may have been one long-term deep relationship that scarred them, and thereafter it's just been keep it superficial, keep it light-hearted, keep it casual, don't go too deep. And even when it's been long-term, it's only lasted long-term because the partner in that situation hasn't demanded depth of them. So, you are dealing with someone that at this stage in their life isn't capable of the kind of depth of love that you are looking for. This person still has painful heart wounds. This Fool energy here, they're still really naive as well to their own behaviours. This is someone that doesn't see who they are. It's a real Peter Pan energy with this Knight of Wands. This is someone that still behaves like a 17, 18-year-old kid. That energy of just not really caring what happens next, just enjoying the moment and being distracted and delightfully absorbed in it. It's a very irresponsible energy, someone that's unable to consider the feelings or needs of others, someone that's very self-focused. There's a strong energy of trickster or narcissism here, and certainly the player energy with this Knight of Wands. Doesn't mean they're a bad person, and I say these things not to judge or shame them, but you need to be aware that this person isn't capable of showing up for you in the way that you would need or want. They don't have that level of maturity. They don't know how to have a mature relationship as you're, hoping for. And with this Wheel of Fortune energy, it's just not where they are in life. And I do think there may be a tremendous age gap here, if not age gap, certainly in terms of soul age, or even, what this person has been through. I guess we all grow at different paces, but, they are more immature than you. They are at a very different stage of the life journey. And, there isn't going to be any rapid change with them. And this relationship probably can't work out in the way that you would like or need it to. It definitely feels with this Knight of Swords in reverse as well. And, Knight of Wands is a very adolescent energy. It's a very playful player. You see how it avoids the emotional depths here? Yes, it's got emotional potential, but it avoids them. It's trotting in the shallows, staying on higher ground. But, the Knight of Wands is Aries energy, very driven, very passionate, rushing forward, taking action with, impulse. No understanding of the potential consequences or even thought or consideration for that. And then this island of shadow that they're avoiding in the distance. This is someone that's very disconnected from their own emotional truth. Someone that, the Knight of Swords is a much more purposeful forward movement with this shark energy, and it's a lot more aggressive. This aspect of themselves is definitely repressed, but this also means that they're kind of switched off from their own inner compass and logic. Definitely this person doesn't give much time to think things through at all. This is a very impulsive nature. And so you may get really angry with them and think that they're deliberately playing games with you. But this person really isn't pausing to think about the consequences. It's not that they deliberately disrespected you. It's more the case that they don't know what they're doing. It didn't even occur to them that you might perceive it as disrespect or that it would impact you that way. This is someone that's really naive, foolish even. What do you need to know about how they feel about you? We've got the Ten of Cups, the High Priestess, and the Hermit. Do you know, it's so interesting how the energies in all three piles have had a kind of similar flow. But this person for sure, different circumstances for each pile, but similar flow of energy. This Ten of Cups, you know, I think really belies their true feelings. And intuitively they sense that deep and meaningful connection between you. But this person also, you know, feels the need to remain separate from that. You know, that depth of feeling is exactly what drives them away from you. The intensity is something that this person is not prepared to face. And so this person continues to run. It's kind of like lovable rogue energy, because I do think you're aware that they are, even though you're so frustrated and annoyed with them, there is this kind of understanding that this is just some stupid, dumb, wounded kid. And I don't think they are a kid, but you know, you recognise the way they're presenting in this Peter Pan energy, that they genuinely don't see how appalling their behaviour is. And you know, they're so cheeky and charismatic in their response to your rage. They seem to always kind of cool you down and win you over. But I do feel like it's got very tiring for you. You know, that it stopped being so funny, because it just seemed to be a relentless cycle. And you've started to understand that this person has way more inner child trauma and pain that they need to deal with than you first realised. And, you know, the energy of addiction has come up in all piles. But in this pile, I do feel like there is probably a substance abuse problem here. Like there is a genuine addiction to a drug or alcohol. I don't think it's an addiction to patterns or habits, or I literally think there's a substance issue here. It feels like this person, you know, that's how they self-medicate and cope with life. And for some, you know, there is an indication that has, you know, there may have been a stint in rehab. There may have been a piece or portion of their life that has been disrupted, you know, that has meant that they couldn't function as a result. You know, it's a serious non-functioning drug habit is what I'm picking up here. But absolutely bizarrely, a random dog has just jumped over my fence. So that's a symbol of friendship and loyalty for you right there. And I think, you know, this really indicates the depth of feeling here. This person sees you as family, and I feel very strongly that this person doesn't have family. You know, that they don't have a loving, supportive family, and so they've kind of latched onto you in that way. But the intensity of that love is also, as I said, what kind of keeps them apart, because they don't want to surrender to that. It makes them feel far too vulnerable. So what does this person, what are the messages from your person about themselves? What do you need? What do they want you to know about them that you need to know? I'm going to use some oracle cards here as well. What do they need you to know about them? Let's use the archetype cards. I'm going to get one. What does your person need to know about them? And also a message for you from your person. What do they need you to know about yourself? For them first. What do they need you to know about them? So it's the dark attribute of the Don Juan, the shadow attribute. And for you, well, there's two here. The light attribute of the seeker and the light attribute of the addict. So we'll read those in a minute. Let's get some more cards here. So I'm going to get some of these animal spirit oracle cards. What do they need you to know? What's their higher self want you to know about them? We've got the swan, that's come up in every pile. The snake. The fire ant. And the lizard. And from the Seven Energies Oracle, opening to discovery, waking the lion, and the rose's kiss. Okay, and from the message cards, these are just cards that I've written on myself. Whoa. I don't know what I want. I'm confused. This is all too weird for me. I'm not bad, I'm just broken. One more. I fantasize about being with you, but I'm too scared to try again. So, I think the very revealing card here is the swan. This has come up in every pile today. It's a very twin flame symbol. It's a mirror image of these two swans. Now, a swan, when it's on its own, is actually really referred to as a demi-swan, half a swan, not even a complete swan, because swans, once they come together as a pair, they stay together for life, hence its connection to this symbol of enduring love. But this mirror image as well here, coming up over this Ten of Cups, I think this really demonstrates as a message from this person as what you need to know about them. Is that they know that you are the other half of their soul. They know that there is a deep and enduring love here. They feel it. And, this energy of creation is so powerful. This energy of the snake coming out of the dark, the Ouroboros here eating its own tail, this cosmic understanding and expansion and growth that's happening here. But I do feel very strongly when this one came out, I think your person's actually very gifted at a psychic level, even though they may not be fully awake, although this waking the lion, coming into their masculine strength is indicated. But I do think that actually this is all too freaky and too weird for this person, that they get so scared of all the weirdness that occurs between you two. I think they're very switched on to the telepathy, the signs, the synchronicities, all of the weirdness that you've experienced. I think they've noticed it too, and it scares them. And so we've got this scattered energy. Again, this yellow energy here, this energy of being so super triggered. And for me, it depends how you interpret this. Are they running towards it or running away from it? For me, I just got this scattered, panicked energy, this impulsive charging away from the trigger center, again, connected to this root. And the lizard, lizards are cold-blooded, and this scaliness, the protective, defensive nature of their skin is really highlighted here. This person is very much concealed beneath layers and layers of shadow and pride and ego. That, this energy that's kind of bursting out from the center is just absolutely terrifying for them. Again, this opening to discovery, the key is there, but it feels like they don't want to unlock that door. There is a lot of fear connected to the spiritual nature of this relationship. And this rose's kiss, this is a number 9 energy. Even though it's such a romantic gesture, it's also hermity. Similar to that lineup we saw as their feelings. I might feel deep, but I want to keep that deep to myself. I'm not ready to unleash it. These feel like very, very afraid energies. But the waking the lion, this is about waking up inner strength, the waking up of the heart. And this is number 10 energy, the energy of completion and oneness and unity. So I think the message here is that, even though your person is afraid and very much in denial and resistant of these energies, they can't unknow what they know. There is the energy of truth and awareness in this. But this shadow attribute of Don Juan made me chuckle, because I think this is predictable. This using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. This person gets a big buzz from being flirty. They get a big buzz from that kind of romantic attention. I think this is what's driven you crazy about them, is that they're constantly flirting with other people, back and forward, the real Casanova, this player energy. You never really knew where you stood with them. And I just think, they're saying that is who I am right now. I'm really sorry. This feeds my ego. This is how I generate value for myself and self-worth. And I know it's shadowy and crap, and it's not a safe way to be, but this is where I'm at in my journey. But they're seeing you. You know, these are the cards that they wanted, pardon me, to communicate about you. And we had the light attribute of the addict, which, remember, we said that they've definitely got addictions, helps you recognize and confront your addictive behavior. This is a beautiful message. You know, this is really them saying, please, your support has not been in vain. You have helped me so much. And it, you know, through our conversations and interactions, I'm learning how to overcome and recognize my addiction. I'm not there yet, but I'm aware now, and it really has helped. You know, you really have helped them recognize and confront those addictions. And the light attribute of the seeker, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. You know, you have really ignited this curious, intrigued nature that, you know, has now opened these doors to discovery and possibility. It scares them, but I feel this is like one of those morbid curiosities. You know, when we're watching really gory films and we don't want to see it, but we're also kind of morbidly curious as to what it looks like. This is that energy. Someone that's so very skeptical and terrified of the spiritual and the unknown and the paranormal, but also too curious to ignore that door as it creaks open. And I just feel like you've opened up this whole new world to them. And even though they're kind of floundering and a bit timid in moving towards it, you know, they do definitely appreciate that. I don't know what I want. I'm confused. And I really feel that this is sincere. You know, this person just doesn't understand enough about themselves or life to possibly, understand why they feel so compelled to run from you. And I think this is honest too. I think you sense this. You know, I'm not bad. I'm just broken. And this really is weird for me. But they do fantasize about being with you. They're just too scared, you know, to embrace love again, not just with you, but with anyone. But, you know, again, we've got this Swan and this 10 of Cups energy. You know, for me, this is someone that's really feeling the love, that recognizes the energy of completion and, you know, just beautiful, empowering love here, enduring love. So I think this person, it just isn't grown enough, and there needs to be the energy of acceptance on your part so that you can move forward from this and find some peace and respite for yourself. So let's get some guidance cards for you as well. I'm going to use we'll use these ones, these 7 energies oracle, and I'm going to get some of the keepers of the light cards as well. So we've got endless possibilities, smoke and mirrors. This is so interesting. These came up for pile 2. I'm giving these a really good shuffle, I swear. So interesting. Common themes today in all piles. Call of the Muse. And then from the keepers of the light deck, these are lovely. These are by Kyle Gray. We've got Mahavatar Babaji, Soul Expansion. And we have got Lady Venus, Downloads and Understanding. Okay, and I'm going to get some charms for you as well, pile 3, before we move this over to the extended. So what's the guidance? What do you need to know about your person to help you move forward to the highest good of this connection? Couple more. And I thought, wow, okay, that might be too many. We'll keep them anyway. Fake news. Okay, so you've got to pay attention to the influences others and gossip. I say got to pay attention, question it. If you've not heard it from the horse's mouth, maybe you need to reject that information. So this is asking you not to trust everything that you hear unless you hear it from the horse's mouth. This is very important. I feel like there's people in your zone of awareness that are trying to stir up trouble and maybe have tried to give you an impression that served their agenda and disrupted yours. Look, this has come out after it. It's slightly bitter. Yeah, this is someone trying to cause problems here. I'm hearing this could be an ex or a karmic energy in your person's background. So some of that Don Juan player stuff, I feel like someone deliberately stirs that pot. Again, we've got this like and dart aspects charm come up for you too, which I think really demonstrates the deep, moving nature of your connection. You know, this awareness of your light and dark aspects that kind of, you both act as this light for one another. Keep going, keep growing. You know, I know this is a difficult stage in your journey, but it does feel like you're blooming in all the right directions and expansion is occurring. Wizard in training, this is what I was saying about your person. Oh, you know, they're very gifted. They are very psychically inclined, even if they don't always admit it. I feel like they may have hinted, but tend to pull the conversation away from, really talking about it seriously. And we've got the rainbow here as well. This is about wish fulfillment and optimism, just to trust in the process. This has come up in every pile. Is Mercury in retrograde? At the time of uploading, it's not. But Mercury being in retrograde causes disruptive communication cycles. For me, this coming up is really saying that right now, with the greatest will in the world, it's going to be hard to communicate in a productive or effective way. So it's just something to be aware of when we're asking what you need to know about this person. The energies are not best aligned for effective communication. We've also got the acorn here, which for me is a symbol of growth or new beginnings. This is a seed of a new beginning. So to trust, you've got that growth occurring there, and to trust in the forward momentum of this connection. And you've also got the twin quartz here. This is a symbol of twin flame. I don't know why my camera won't focus on it, but the twin quartz is a symbol of that eternal connection. Very powerful for you guys again. So powerful symbols here. You've just got to trust that this period may seem to last forever, but actually things are moving in a productive direction. Trust in the endless possibilities. Be aware of the energy that's presenting in the mirror. This is about focusing on what it's teaching you about yourself and recognizing how much growth and movement is available to you through that. This person really is your muse and you theirs. The light and dark aspects that are in you are in them too. You are an energetic clone of one another. And even though physically you may present very differently in the world and you may have had very different experiences, your essence or your soul is the same, and your soul is expanding. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things, and you certainly understand the connection between you and this person, and they're still figuring it out. Their consciousness isn't as expanded as yours, but it's growing. To trust it's moving in the right direction. And Lady Venus, powerful message. Truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. And I feel this is for both of you. But look, I'm really drawn to how it's activating her heart space here. Activating a higher vibrational love. For me, this just feels like a very positive energy. It's asking you to really invest in your own divinity, to invest in your own expansion, and to trust. That I'm seeing that there's stars in every single one of these. And stars for me are a symbol of wish fulfillment and hope and optimism. And you're being, called to recognize that you can manifest and create a really positive and productive way forward when you are self-focused. These are all very independent energies as well. And they're all very, very divine. They're all about stepping within and aligning yourself with the highest vibrational flow of light possible, keeping your focus there, remembering you too are a wizard in training. So I'm going to take this over to the extended. We're going to go even deeper with this reading. We're going to get some deeper messages from your person and ask, what do we need to know about you and this situation the most? So if this resonated for you and you'd like to join me over there, you can find the links in the description box below and also at the top by the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, Pile 3. It's always a pleasure to read for you. And thank you so much for hitting the like button today. It really does help my channel to grow. Please do leave a comment and tell me what you thought of this reading. And it helps to make a note of which pile you've watched as well, so you know if you are ever drawn back to this video in the future, which tends to happen. YouTube likes to point you in the direction of the videos at the right time, though, I find. But if you've made a note in the comments, you'll know which one not to watch again. And let me know what you thought. Thanks for hitting the subscribe button, and thank you so much to those of you that watch my commercials. You are absolute angels. I really appreciate how generous you are with your time. It's a perfect energy exchange, and it really does make the greatest world of difference to my channel. So thank you. I will see you next time. Lots of love. Bye.